Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We have Harrison tonight. How we doing, Harrison?
Awesome. How we doing, bud?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So we have a lot of stuff to kind of get into tonight. Free agent stuff. We have the player puzzles are back. We also have the uniform debacle. We have Salt Lake City expansion news. A couple of retirements. Well, one retirement and some load management issues that we'll get into. But before we get into that, make sure that you follow and like us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Leading off, Matt Chapman finally signs 3 years, $54 million to the Giants. This is a good deal, I think, for the Giants, because it still gives them room to possibly sign Blake Snell, which we'll get into in a little bit. But Matt Chapman's completely banking on himself. And if you saw or heard the Scott Boras press conference today, this was the way Matt Chapman wanted to go, supposedly. Obviously, you can take what Scott Boras says with a grain of salt, but
sure.
This was the way Matt Chapman wanted to go. He kind of wanted to bet on himself. I don't know if I necessarily buy that, but here we are. Matt Chapman to the Giants, 3 years, $54 million.
I mean, I thought for sure he was going to the Diamondbacks until the Diamondbacks made that trade for Suarez, and then it kind of took his market and changed it. I think the Giants are a great place for him. That was always kind of, we thought would be the second most likely landing spot for him. That Giants team is trying to load up. I will say Matt Chapman was offered more money by the Blue Jays a while back that he turned down.
$100 million.
Now he's taking less money, shorter term. Like, I don't know that I would call this a good deal for Matt Chapman. I think Matt Chapman got what he could. I think the Giants, it's a good deal for them. And I agree with you. He kind of like Bellinger. He's betting on himself. You know, he's going to go out there and show that he can do it. And if he can, there's more out there for him. If he can't, well, at least he landed somewhere and he's going to get paid.
And I think, you know, I keep calling it Pac Bell. I don't know what it's called now at this AT&T Park or whatever. San Francisco is a great place for him because he is a gap-to-gap hitter and he will hit it and run forever. So he'll have a ton of doubles there, I think, this year. But
I'm with Craig. I mean, it's a good ballpark for him. It's a good team, and I think he'll be a great addition to that team. And to your point, Nick, with his line drive gap type approach, that ballpark is gonna be perfect for him. He's not gonna hit a ton of home runs. He doesn't usually. He's a 18 to 20-ish home run guy. But he will wear out the gaps, and that ballpark will play well to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that defense behind that kind of younger coming along pitching staff is gonna be nice to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his glove at third base is top notch.
Gross.
So yeah. CJ Cron heading to Boston on a minor league contract, just kind of a depth piece for the Sox, in case Cassis doesn't pan out or someone gets hurt or something, whatever. It's a good power bat to have. I don't know if he makes the opening day roster or not, just kind of hangs out in Worcester until something happens. But we'll see. Or maybe a trade piece down the road.
I think the signing of Cron is all about depth and all about the fact the Red Sox just don't believe in Dahlbeck. Because when you look at the camp, your number 2 first baseman in camp is Dahlbeck. And you went out and got Cron. So that basically what that says is you don't think Dahlbeck is going to be a major leaguer, and Cron's an insurance policy.
Yeah. I mean, fair.
I mean, it's hard to argue. Dahlbeck's what he's done in the major league level has been pretty pitiful. The guy absolutely rakes in the minors. He's one of those 4A guys. He's too good for AAA. He's not quite major league ready. Like, there's nothing in between. So
yeah,
the Red Sox, for little money, if Cron's got anything left, which when he's healthy, the guy can rake, he can hit.
Yeah.
It's a good depth piece. Not a lot of money, and it just shows the Red Sox are probably going to move on from Dahlbeck at some point here.
I mean, Dahlbeck comes up and he has a week and a half stretch where no one can get him out, and then he fans 200 times straight. So it's like it's not as consistent as the Red Sox would like.
Well,
so,
I laugh. I make the parallel to Bobby Dahlbeck is Brian Dahlbeck.
Yeah.
They're the same player. One's right-handed, one's left-handed, but same thing. For 2 weeks, Brian Daubach would carry the entire offense, and then he would disappear for a month, and then he'd come roaring back. That's Daubach.
Yeah.
Is a streak hitter, and he's either red hot or he's absolutely ice cold.
Yeah.
And I think Craig's got a point. I think with more at bats, he might be MLB ready. He hasn't gotten a ton of at bats. He hasn't gotten a lot of consistent at bats either.
Right.
And it's hard to judge a guy when you haven't had, when you look at Cassis, the first half of the year last year, Cassis wasn't great.
Right.
And then he finally got to a couple hundred at bats, 250 at bats, and all of a sudden he turned the corner and had a fantastic finish to the year. But you got to build up the reps.
Yeah, I agree. Especially at that level, it is a big step from AAA to the major leagues.
Huge.
You just have to see it.
When you're going out there and facing Garrett Cole, and then you've got, you're not facing AAA pitching. You're facing the absolute best in the world.
Right.
And no, you don't just grab a bat and hop up there and go 3 for 4.
Right.
I mean, maybe you do. I don't.
I mean, I could back in the day, but the Padres unfortunately assigned Ethan Salas to their minor league camp. I mean, the kid's 17. I get it. I get it.
I so badly wanted to see him to be the opening day catcher.
The same, so bad. I was rooting
It's ridiculous to think it's possible, but my goodness, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, same. Zach Wheeler signs his extension, 3 years, $126 million, $42 million a year, the highest annual value for a starting pitcher to this day.
Crazy amount of money. He's going to make more money in the next 3 years than he's made in the last 5.
Yeah. I mean, it solidifies him and Aaron Nola as their 1-2.
Yes.
That's what all that does. And it shows, like I think you said earlier in text, like it shows that the Phillies are here for contending. Like that's
the Phillies are telling their fans, hey, we're not going anywhere. We're all in. The window's not closing. We're going to keep this core together for at least a few more years. And Philly's not afraid to spend. They've shown with the Trey Turner contract and the Bryce Harper contract and the re-signing of Nola and now the extension to Wheeler. They're not afraid to spend. No. And they do have the benefit of having a couple of inexpensive guys like Bohm and Stott out there helping the payroll amount. But at the end of the day, I mean, this Phillies team, Dave Dombrowski, we know Dave very well from 2018.
Yep.
He is going to spend.
Right.
That guy's going to spend like there is infinite money, but he will win. That's what he does.
Yeah. I mean, and you got Ranger Suarez. He's under control for a couple more years too. So, I mean, you have your top 3 guys there for a while. And then if somehow they can sneak in and grab a Jordan Montgomery or a Blake Snell here coming down the stretch, like who knows where these 2 guys are going? No one has a freaking clue at this point.
I would love to see it though. I would love to see an absolute heavyweight match in the NL with the Braves, the Phillies, the Dodgers, just duking it out all year.
Yeah, that NL East just between those 2 alone, like, whew,
you could have 3 teams in the NL win 100 games.
Yeah,
when you think about it, you could.
Absolutely crazy, but yeah, I don't. Well, so according to Bob Nightingale, I read this on Bleacher Report. The Angels and the Giants are the current front runners for Blake Snell. Jordan Montgomery is likely headed to Boston. Now, this was per Bob Nightingale. We've talked about Montgomery in the past with his connections with Boston. His wife works in Boston, whatever. So it just seems like that's the place for him.
Yeah, it seemed destined.
Yeah. The Angels and Giants in on Snell, though. I think, like I said, to start off the show, the Chapman contract allows the Giants to make a short-term deal for Snell. And at this point, that's what it seems like it's going to be, is a short-term deal. And then he's going to test the free agent market and have Boris bung it up all over again.
Yeah, these big guys are all signing 3-year deals with opt-outs at the end of the first and second year. They're basically signing glorified 1-year deals because that's all there is out there. And Snell for 3 years, 90 million or 100 million, whatever the number needs to be with opt-outs at the end of 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason the Giants couldn't swing that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chapman signing there, if there wasn't some sort of conversation about, okay, like what else are we going to go get so we can really be competitive here in the West? Because of course the Giants looking up at the Dodgers going, holy crap, what are we going to do about these guys?
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks don't forget about them.
Yeah.
That's a stacked NL West.
Yeah. I mean, NL East, between the NL East and the NL West, those are going to be some pretty fun races to watch, I think. Maybe not so much a race in the NL West, because I mean the Dodgers are a powerhouse, but don't sleep on the Diamondbacks having another good season.
No, and again, as we saw last year, just get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if you're built for the playoffs, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing the Dodgers have shown. They can run off regular season wins. But when the games get tight and they get late and the pressure's up, they can't win. That they're just not built for playoff baseball. And I would argue the Dodgers roster is still not built for playoff baseball.
No, because I mean, you don't have Shohei on the mound at all this year. You don't know what you're going to get from Walker Buehler coming back from his second, third, fourth, whatever elbow injury. He came out and said he wants to be back in shape and be back to his good former self, which I mean, every player wants to do that after injury. I get it, but I don't know. Buehler's a question mark. You just don't know if he can stay on the field.
Yeah, and you've got Ohtani's got no playoff experience.
Right.
Mookie Betts does not have a great playoff track record. Freddie Freeman has an okay playoff track record. Once you get to the lineup beyond those guys, it's not super deep. You've got Yamamoto with no playoff background, Glasnow with no playoff background. Like, you've got a lot of guys that are, I shouldn't say no, Glasnow's got some, but not a lot.
Right.
Although I think he was hurt for most of the last couple times they made deep playoff runs. So there's a lot of question marks. So if you can get into the playoffs, you'll take your chances.
Yeah. I mean, especially we talked about it last postseason. Like, was it Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman combined for like a 1-for-19 or whatever in that?
Yeah, they were terrible. And neither one of them has a great playoff track record. So again, like, you look at the Dodgers in October, the Dodgers in July scare the hell out of me. In October, not as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Until they can prove themselves other than a 60-game season, I'm not hanging my hat on that team. So.
Yeah. No fans, no sound, no pressure. Like, it was like you were basically playing, backyard baseball. It's not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Donaldson retired today. So I saw the most ridiculous post right before we came on. And some guy begging for attention was like, is Josh Donaldson a Hall of Famer?
No,
and
get out of here.
I go, this is going to be a joke, right?
Yeah,
like,
are you trolling or what?
Absolutely.
Josh Donaldson.
He does have the MVP in 2015. Like, he was a very good player.
He for a handful of years he was elite, and then other than that he was pretty mediocre.
Yeah, going to Toronto and then kind of sliding over to the Yankees there and whatever that mess was in New York. I mean, there's no way he's a Hall of Famer, but who knows nowadays? I mean, everybody's getting in. So.
Well, I mean, so career stat line, career batting average of 261, 279 home runs, 1,310 hits, 816 runs scored, 816 RBIs. That's weird. Those are the same number.
Right.
358 OBP, 489 slugging. 46.8 career WAR. Not exceptional numbers, but he did have a 4 or 5 year stretch where he was like elite.
Yeah, but the eyeball test alone tells me he's not a Hall of Famer. I mean, there's just no way. There's just no way. The guy was just straight trolling, but I was like, come on now. Yep. That's out of control.
If he could have kept up his pace from 2013 to 2017 and done that rest of his career, yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he's got big gaps in between.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. But.
And he also, you talk about the character clause and what people think of you. I don't think Josh Donaldson made a whole lot of friends over the years either. He was not a super likable guy.
No. And continues to be. So,
he was who he was.
Yeah.
Craig, he's got the Yankees taking the Dodgers in 6 games. I believe it. I could see it.
Yeah, I could too. And like I said, Snell's still a wild card out there. If he gets into that Yankees rotation somehow, I mean,
forget about it.
Yeah. So I agree. Don't sleep on my Orioles or my Diamondbacks.
Well, no, those are my Orioles. You claimed the Diamondbacks. Sean claimed the Giants. You guys claimed your teams.
All right. Well,
stay out of my AL East.
Okay. I thought you claimed the Royals.
Well, I'm taking the Royals, the Reds, and the Orioles, buddy. You guys got to take the cream of the crop. I'm just grabbing what's left.
All right. Yeah. I took the Diamondbacks at the beginning of last year before they even made a run. So whatever. All right. Well, since Craig's here and he loves this game, we'll just pop right into it.
We'll come back to the news later.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Craig, I got the Yankees and Marlins.
Yeah.
I love it.
You could root for Tim Anderson all you want, dude. You can have him. I'm all set with getting behind that guy. But
don't sleep on Tim Anderson. I think he's gonna have a monster season. That dude's got a lot to prove.
Well, I mean, when you're playing against the Mets and the Nationals a bunch, that's gonna help. But
balanced schedule now. You can't.
Well, it's true. I mean, you still play.
You do still play them more. Yeah, it's 13.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll get into our player puzzles now. Which,
all right, Craig, stay with me and help me out here.
Yeah, without Sean, Harrison's by himself, so you got to help him here. So we have been putting these out on Reels. We've been getting good responses, and I hope you guys have been enjoying these as much as I have putting them together. It's been a blast. So,
all right, good. Craig's in. Let's do this.
All right, here we go. Here is the first one. The first few are fairly simple, I would say.
Yeah, give me a warm up.
Who is this?
Oh, Larry Walker.
Larry
I'm
Walker.
looking at the guy going, I cannot think of his name.
Yep, Larry Walker.
Larry Walker. I love Larry Walker.
Here is the next one.
Bob Gibson.
Yes, Bob Gibson. Yep.
The bobber. I love it.
Bob Gibson, yep. Oh. How about this one?
Oh God, Charlie.
It's Charlie Sheen.
Yep. And I can't think of the woman's name.
That's Julianne Hough.
Oh, Charlie Huff. There we go.
Yeah, Charlie Huff.
Yeah, so when it comes to like pop culture type stuff, I'm terrible. I don't know actors, actresses, all this stuff.
Yeah. Here's the next one.
Oh Jesus. Mike Lowell.
Yes, Mike Lowell. I had to put the fly picture in there with Mike Pence there. Mike Lowell.
That's good.
Mike Lowell.
Oh God.
How about this one?
Ryan Braun.
Yep. Ryan Braun. Okay.
Man,
next.
talk about a guy another player like a Donaldson that had like a stretch of 4 or 5 years where he was absolutely elite and then just.
Well, he got into that whole steroids or doping or whatever that mess was, and his career just absolutely tailspin after
fell apart.
That, so, yeah. All right, here is the next one. So that's the
Troy O'Leary.
Troy O'Leary, yep. Yes, nice. Troy O'Leary.
I was at a game. I think he was like 3 for 5, like 3 bombs into the bullpen.
Yep, it's crazy.
What the hell?
Okay.
Oh, Will Middlebrooks.
Yes, Will Middlebrooks.
It doesn't even matter who the first guy is. I got the Middlebrooks part. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's Will from Stranger Things.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like middle seat. Oh, Middlebrooks, got it.
Yeah, Brooke Shields too over.
Have you listened to some of the stuff that he has to say, but kind of in his podcast and also as a commentator? He's good.
Yeah, here and there I have for sure, but
I like him.
Yeah. All right, next one.
That's Kyle, right?
Yep, it's Kyle.
Is that an armadillo?
Yep, but what is it doing?
Rolling.
Or it's. I can't.
Who's the woman?
This is her.
Oh, that's her. That's right. I should have known that.
That's actually like her stage name is her.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
You should have heard the debate my wife had one night. She's like, oh, that's her. I'm like, well, right. What's her name? I was like, who's on first?
Yeah, right. So this armadillo.
Is it Schwarber?
Nope. This armadillo is stretched out, and then when it goes into the ball, it does this. He's an Astro.
Oh, Tucker. Oh, Tuck.
Yes.
Got it. Yep.
Yes. Kyle Tucker. Yeah, that was a hard one to kind of like put into
a
picture. So I figured
you should have done like a little kid with like a blanket getting put over him.
Oh yeah, that was probably
that one I would have gotten. Give me the kid stuff.
Yeah, right. All right, next one.
Kyle Tucker's so good.
Yep.
it's Stan. What's his last name?
Lee.
Stan Lee. Thank you. Oh, Young Ho. No.
Yes.
Young Ho Lee.
Young Ho Lee. I just signed with the Giants there.
Felt like I was saying that wrong.
Yeah, he's been tearing it up in spring training.
He is awesome. He's awesome.
He's going to be fun to watch for sure.
I like him a lot.
All right, here's the next one.
I keep wanting to say Anthony Miller, but that's not.
No,
not it.
You have the last name.
I know.
The ampersand's another way to say what?
And?
Uh-huh. So,
Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller.
I was fixated on the horse, not the fact that it was a drawing.
yeah. Andrew Miller. All right.
Gotcha,
next.
Gas.
Right. Next one.
Oh, God. Oh, Trot Nixon.
Yes. Trot Nixon.
I'm like, all Nicks. Perfect.
Yep. Trot Nixon.
Should just put you up there 3 times.
Right. I couldn't find a good picture of myself, so. All right, next one.
Oh, God. Oh, Daryl Strawberry.
Yep, Daryl Strawberry.
I love The Office.
Yeah, right.
Daryl Strawberry. Number retired.
Crazy.
I don't know. It's. I get it.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll.
Yes, Corbin Carroll. Christmas carols there. Corbin Carroll. All right, next one.
So it's Jay Urinal.
Yep. I think the last name will help you out with the first name. So who's the first picture?
Aaron Donald.
Yep.
You got eyes.
Uh-huh.
A B and the word ah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Aaron Sebia.
Yep.
It's JP Aaron Sebia.
JP Aaron Sebia.
I'm like, wow. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The last name totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't exactly put like P.
Yeah.
And the second one,
I appreciate
so I was like,
you didn't.
How do I do this one? Well, I almost thought about doing Body Cox, but I couldn't figure out a way to do that one clear. So
a couple of roosters.
Oh, good one. I'll keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
All right. How about this
Craig,
one?
You thought that was a hard one.
Yeah. This one might be a hard one too.
Is that like a pole? What is that?
I can't really tell you because it will give it away.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it's another word for a pole.
Is that hair, the first one?
Yep, or another name for hair. Like on animals.
Oh.
And think about the sex of the deer.
Boy.
This was a tougher one.
So I'm guessing that's a doe. There's no rack on it, so.
Right, it's a doe. Another word for animal hair is
fur.
Uh-huh. Another word for grandma.
Nana.
Uh-huh. Put them together.
Fernando.
Uh-huh. Fernando.
Fernando Rodney.
Fernando Rodney. Yes.
I'm like, is the old lady holding her hip? Like, what am I looking for here?
Yeah, it just like it's a nan.
It's for Hypno Stickney.
Yes. Fernando Rodney.
That dude was He was lights out one night and then couldn't get anybody out the next.
I couldn't stand his hat. I can't
the hat
stand the hat.
And then the whole crossing the arms thing or the bow.
Oh my God, couldn't. Ugh.
But the hat drove me nuts. I couldn't do it.
All right, moving on.
Alan Trammell.
Yes, Alan Trammell. A good one. This one might be a hard one too. So again, kind of focus on the last name here. That will help you.
We got a green light. What is that? Steak in the middle?
Yep. But what? Like, look at the steak.
Rare.
Uh-huh.
Light rare canoe.
Not light rare canoe. What is he doing?
Playing with his dinghy.
Besides that,
he's rowing.
Yes.
Oh God, sorry.
So not stop, but
Guerrero.
Yes,
Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah, it's Vlad the Impaler.
Nice.
Yeah,
Vlad the Impaler's epic.
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero. How about this one?
Oh, Jeff Bagwell.
Yep, Jeff Bagwell.
Good one. What a weird stance, but boy, could he hit.
Love it.
Is that Travis Kelce?
Yep.
Travis Fryman.
Yep, good.
I loved Fryman back in the day. I remember most of the Indians, but
yeah, and on the Tigers.
Who the hell's the top guy?
This is Manilow. I won't give you his first name.
Oh, Barry.
Yep.
Oh, Larkin. Barry Larkin.
Yes, Barry.
What the hell kind of bird is that?
Yeah, Barry Larkin.
Got to get better at bird watching.
How about this one?
Who's
the
guy?
That's I can't give away his last name, but it's Roy from Ted Lasso.
Oh God, I've never watched Ted Lasso.
Oh, you have to, dude. Ted Lasso is so good.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so good, Harrison. You would love it.
All right.
So, who's the first guy?
Not Mike Rowe. Who's the other guy that does all the
It's Survivor.
Thank you. Yeah, what the hell's his name?
Probst. It's
Jeff
Craig.
Probst. Jeff Probst, that's right.
Yep. So this is his name's Roy Kent. So this is Jeff.
Oh, Kent. Jeff Kent. Okay. Yeah. So I have no idea who that guy on the right is.
So I used this picture of Jeff Kent because he was also on Survivor.
What?
Yeah, he was on a season of Survivor.
No shit. That's amazing. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's why I used that kind of fit with the Jeff Probst thing. So
that's cool. I did not realize he was on Survivor. That connection would have been easier for me if I had known that.
Oh, well. All right. Well, sorry.
I'm not sure how I missed it.
Yeah, right. All right. Next one.
Morgan, he did pretty well. Finished like 8th.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Is that a bar?
It is a bar.
Is that Rihanna?
It's Rihanna.
Let's see. That's. We talking like Louisiana Purchase here?
Sort of. What are these called?
Certificate?
Nope. This is Morgan's favorite player of all time.
Oh, come on, Morgan. Jump in.
They're usually at banks and they collect value over time.
Oh, Barry Bonds.
Yes. Barry Bonds.
Morgan was right on it.
Yep. All right. Next one.
Oh, God. Terry. Oh, Pendleton.
Yes. Nice. Yeah. Del Curry in the middle there. Terry Pendleton. Nice.
Del Curry's kid's pretty good last I saw.
Yep. I think this one's a kind of an easy one.
Is that Ty Pennington?
Yep.
So is it Ty France?
It's Ty France. Yeah. It's a layup. Ty France.
Oh my God. Family Matters. It was Carl, right?
Yep. It was Carl.
Carl Lobster Ford.
You're really close.
Carl Crawford.
Yes, Carl Crawford. Yeah.
Oh God, the Red Sox uniform, it pains me to see because he was such a bust.
It was so bad.
All right, what is that first picture?
Charcoal.
Okay. Oh, Charlie Blackmon.
Yep, good. Nice one.
Black Mom.
Yep.
I love his beard.
Yep. I think you'll love this one. I had to put this one in. I'll give you a hint. It's not a player.
It's not a player? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, boy. So
but
we got Henry Rowengartner.
Yep. And what's a slang term for a toilet?
There's lots of them, but
I'm going to go to the...
So you can go to the...
And the toilet definitely symbolizes what this guy has done for the Red Sox in the offseason. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, is it John Henry?
Yeah, it's John Henry.
it's the John.
Yep, heading to the John.
Oh, God.
John Henry. You're welcome.
I like it. That was good. Oh, God. What was the Addams family's dad's name? There's Morticia and...
I really can't give it away.
Oh, crap.
Gives away his whole last name.
I know.
You know who the first guy is?
I don't, but I was going to back into it.
It's Boozer. What's his first
Carlos
name?
Boozer. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, what the hell was his name? What the hell was the Addams family's dad's name?
It is. Anybody in the chat know this one?
Oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Center fielder for the Brewers. He was also known as pretty cocky guy.
Oh, Gomez.
Yes,
Carlos Gomez. My God.
Yeah.
Raking my brain. Oh, Carlos Pena. Good guess too.
Oh, that was a good guess. Yeah. Yeah, Carlos Gomez. Yeah, Gomez Adams.
Yeah, could not think of his name to save my life there.
Yeah.
I could name everybody else in the damn movie, but him.
Yeah, right.
Kevin Millwood.
Yep, Kevin Millwood.
He was so good for a stretch too.
Yep. Again, on the freaking Braves pitching staff. Who else?
The Braves have had so damn many good pitchers come up through.
It's unreal. All right, next one.
Oh, John Rocker.
Yep, John Rocker.
that dude was certifiable.
My God. I still remember watching Braves games, and he had to sprint out of the New York Mets bullpen just to get to the field safely because batteries were being thrown at him.
Well, exactly. And he made all those comments about it's like being in Beirut, and dude just loved to poke the New York fans and make it worse.
That's crazy.
That dude was off his rocker.
Yeah. How about this one?
Oh, Roger Hornsby.
Yes, Hornsby.
Love it.
Yep.
Wait, Morganson also on Survivor. Who?
Oh, he was. John Rocker was on Survivor. That's
John
right.
Rocker was on Survivor?
Yeah.
Did he kill anybody?
They kept everything out of reach. They didn't give their tribe a machete or anything.
My God. Can you imagine that guy with people?
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Crazy. This is also an old timer here. So this is Hibbert in the first picture.
Oh, Roy Hibbert?
Yep.
Roy Campanella?
Yes, Roy Campanella. Nice.
That's going back a ways. This is Bag Book.
Yes, it is Bag Book. Nice job.
Oh, boy. All right, so we got... Craig, I have a John Rocker autograph card. Freaking love it.
That is amazing.
Love it. Only a Yankees fan would collect that. Just a...
How much you selling it for?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I wonder what that book value of that bad boy is, because
$3.50.
Polarizing.
Yeah. Oh, Morgan got
Satchel, it. Nice. I'm goofing. We're goofing off on the John Rocker thing, and Morgan slips in with Satchel Paige.
Yes,
that's
Satchel
good.
Paige. Yeah,
I like it.
Satchel Paige. Nice. All right. So that's not Mickey Mouse. Who is it?
It's not Mickey Mouse.
It was his name before Mickey.
Oh, oh crap! I should know this. My family is like ridiculous.
What about the bottom?
It's Willie Mays.
Yep. Yeah, Willie Mays. Steamboat Willie.
Yep.
And then
Steamboat
Billy
Willie.
Mays, and then the calendar, obviously.
Good old Billy Mays.
All right. Next one, kind of an easier one.
Catfish Hunter.
Yeah, Catfish Hunter. That was a layup.
Yes.
For sure.
It's hard because you're going to put a catfish picture up there and immediately.
Yeah, there's
no hiding that one.
Right.
Oh,
this one too.
Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench. Yeah.
Probably Johnny.
Yep. Johnny.
What movie is that from?
The Shining.
Thank you, The Shining. I was like, I remember the scene. I can't think of where it's from.
Yep. Johnny Bench. Now, also, so when you're looking at the sheep, it's the sex of the sheep.
Okay. Which is what so if it's is that a female?
Yep.
Okay. So, Rod Carew.
Rod Carew, yes. Yep. Rod Carew.
What a weird stance.
Yep. Also a throwback player.
What are those in the bottom right?
They're beer tanks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or what you do to beer.
Yep. Is that the ghost guy from Scream?
Yep, but what does he do?
Oh. Is this Harmon Killebrew?
It is Harmon Killebrew. Nice. Yep. Harm was a hard one to try to figure out.
It is a hard one, yeah. But once I got I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. Yeah. I got the last name first.
Yeah. Harmon Killebrew.
Sean Green.
Yeah, nice one.
I had no idea who the person on the left is, but I'm like, that's the Green, so I'm just going to throw one out there.
That's Sean Johnson, gold medalist gymnast.
Nice.
Yeah, Sean Green. Nice. How about this one?
Oh, Jim Edmonds.
Yep, good. Nice.
That's a good one.
Jim Edmonds.
Man, I'd love watching him play too. Oh, Roy Oswald?
Yeah, nice. Yes. Siegfried and Roy. And then,
yep. I was like, which one am I focusing on? Then I'm like, oh, okay. Oswald.
Yeah,
got it.
Roy Oswald. Yeah, nice.
Oh, God. Freaking Zach Morris.
Mm-hmm.
What is that guy's face?
Well, it will tell you.
Oh, is it Zach Greinke?
It is Zach Greinke, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that.
Zach Greinke. I love this one.
Oh, Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony Rizzo, yeah.
That's such a good one too. Freaking Rizzo.
Yeah, from the Muppets.
Oh, I love it. His pizza place at Hollywood Studios is great.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Wade Boggs.
Yeah, Wade Boggs.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh man, another guy.
Yeah.
Such a good hitter.
Kind of a lesser known player here, but you should be able to get it right from the pictures.
Brad Peacock.
Yes, sir. Brad Peacock.
Yeah, not very, very much a lesser known player.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad Peacock.
That's a good one. Oh my God, Kirby.
Yep.
Kirby Puckett.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm like, Puck. Oh, duh. There you go.
Kirby Puckett.
That's awesome.
Yep.
R.I.P.
Right.
So we got Justin Bohr. Is that a Bohr?
Yeah, Justin Bohr. Yep. Yeah, he was the guy that Sean guessed last week, and I was like, I'm going to put him on.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Yep, Justin Bohr. So that's Hartnett in the first picture.
Oh, Josh Hamilton.
Yes, it's Josh Hamilton. about this one?
So good too.
Yep.
Who is the? I can't really make out the picture in the top left.
It's Brown. He's covering his eyes in the dunk contest, very famously.
Oh, Deion Sanders.
Yes, Deion Sanders.
Morgan dropped that one in the chat.
Yep, nice one. Yep, Deion Sanders.
I was like Sanders, but I was slow on the D Brown.
Yep, Deion Sanders. All right, next one. I think this is the last one I got for today.
Nick Markakis.
Yes, it is.
That's nice. Good one.
Yep.
That was an awesome one too. Yeah. Very underrated outfielder.
Absolutely. So yeah.
Guy who left Baltimore and kind of just quietly went to Atlanta and had a hell of a career.
Yep. Yeah. I love putting those together. I think it's absolutely
hilarious. Fun, man.
Yeah, they're so fun. So yeah.
I'm glad Morgan bailed me out on Satchel Paige.
Right? Yeah, we kind of got off on a tangent there, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But
the John Rocker thing. I could talk about John Rocker for a while. That was something else.
We could have our own John Rocker show for sure.
Maybe he'd come on the show. What's he doing these days? Nothing, right?
Yeah, probably not. I don't really know.
I wish MLB would do like a Where Are They Now and bring players like that. Like all the guys that like you love to watch, but or you hated. Like where are those guys at now?
Can't even imagine what that guy's doing. But
can you imagine life after baseball for that guy?
No, kind of don't want to either. That's fine.
It can't be good. It can't be good.
I'm fine. Probably just some Alabama swamp somewhere.
Totally expect him to be some backwoods redneck.
Oh, for sure.
But it's all good.
All right, let's wrap up the show with some of these semi-controversial issues here.
Yeah.
Let's get right into the uniform issues that the Fanatics, the MLB, all this stuff is, they're getting backlash because the pants are pretty much see-through. And the quality of the jersey or the way the name looks on the jersey, people aren't really digging. However, the players have come out and said like they're really lightweight, comfortable to play in. But I think the pants are the biggest issue. If you look at like all these people all the players that are taking pictures, like you can see their uniform tucked in.
Yeah, it's bad. You can see like their sliding shorts. And I love the fact that most fans are like, oh, you can see their underwear. No, most of these guys wear sliding compression shorts, which are like a padded short.
Mm-hmm.
So like a boxer with a cup holder that has like has padding on the sides. So when you slide, you don't tear your sides up.
Yeah.
So you're not looking at their boxers in most cases. You're looking at a compression sliding short.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, and they've got all these pictures of players standing together, and you can see every single guy's like shirt line and all that, and yeah, it's ridiculous. But what's interesting is that what's making this more fun is a couple days ago, Michael Rubin, the founder and CEO of Fanatics, basically came out and said, we're getting hosed here. We're getting a lot of shit for these uniforms. They weren't our design. This is what they asked for. This is what they gave them. We're being told by MLB and Nike that we're providing what they wanted. Like we're being told it's good. And yet we're getting roasted for these uniforms. And at the same time, the players are like, yeah, they're see-through and they look cheap, but boy, they're really comfortable. Is there a happy medium here? Because the players were asking for a uniform that was stretchable, more sweat absorbent, and more breathable, because the older uniforms that were thicker material, you tend to sweat in them. So it's funny because now Fanatics is coming back and being like, no, MLB, like, this is your problem. This is not our problem. Do not blame us for manufacturing cheap uniforms. This is exactly what you and the players asked for. If you don't like it, we can change it. But this was your spec. This is what you requested, and we delivered that.
Yep.
So now you got the companies fighting publicly as well over whose fault this is.
I just don't know how you don't see that like beforehand. Like those pants are like, they're not just see-through. Like there's nothing left to the imagination with these things.
Yeah, I think if you blame anybody, you blame the quality control people for not looking at those pants and going, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Did nobody try these on? Like, did they not have like players come in and put them on and see like how they fit and how they worked? Like, did you just make them and ship them? Like,
Yeah.
How do you miss that? I think is what everybody's getting to is maybe the uniforms are great. Maybe it's exactly what they wanted, but did nobody actually check them before they went out the door to say, yeah, that's actually what we want? Because that seems like a ridiculous mistake to make. Morgan, you can see all of it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I saw some other posts too. It was like, well, maybe it's just, yeah.
They look like crap, according to Craig.
I mean, for sure.
They do. I mean, they look cheap. They look cheap. They look really poorly made. And the players are like, hey, they're comfortable, but they look like crap.
Maybe they're just trying to bring in the female audience. Maybe that's all they're trying to do.
There was literally an article, I want to say it was either USA Today or Sports Illustrated, saying, did MLB mean to screw this up to try to bring in a more diverse crowd? I mean, I don't think a lot of women are going to be pumped to see a guy sliding shorts, but maybe it's going to get the women to come in and watch. I don't know. I don't know, but they look terrible. They look. It's bad, and they're not even like working on a fix right now. They're going to roll into opening day here in a few weeks with these uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, I get like the nameplate on the back because you can't sew the nameplates into that material, I think is what the issue is there. But
yeah, Craig, I agree. I think they don't look good. Morgan, the Oakland A's supposed to come up with a concept, make them cheap as possible.
No doubt, no doubt in my mind. But yeah, you can't sew into that material, so all the stuff is iron on.
It is what it is. I mean, at some point, somebody's going to own the mistake. But more importantly, like, these behemoth companies are fighting over whose fault it is. Like, nobody's fixing it. Like, lay your swords down for a minute, and hey, we all screwed up. Now let's go fix it. Let's go make a uniform that will actually look good.
Right. Yeah. Lay the swords down that we can all clearly see.
Right. Yeah. Just look at that video I put on the Facebook page last week.
Oh my God. So funny.
It's like it's rather than pissing and moaning in the media. And I don't blame Michael Rubin from Fanatics for being a little pissed. Like, they're getting roasted and it's not their fault. This is the spec they were given.
Yeah.
And Michael Rubin is saying, look, we and Nike will be vindicated in the end because we will prove this was the spec we were given. But more importantly, we're getting all this crap. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to fix it or just keep moving on with these and laughing about it?
Right. I honestly, I don't mind the tops. I mean, like, do the names look a little clunky? Sure. Especially if you put like Christian Encarnacio Strand on there. Like, it's going to look really clunky there. But I mean, that's just what it is. It's the type of the material the players wanted. You can't sew into it, so you have to iron on. There's really no other way around it. Yeah. But my question is those jerseys aren't going to last for a season. Like, how much money are they going to spend on replacing these jerseys throughout the season?
I have to imagine they're planning on bringing spares of them everywhere because I have to imagine a couple of slides and those things are going to be roasted.
Yeah.
And not only that, but how long until somebody slides into second and rips the pants completely?
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm waiting for that for guys to have to be running back to the dugout after sliding into second to get new pants because they ripped them completely.
I've had that with regular baseball pants.
Me too.
I've had the seam completely blow out and my right leg's just hanging in the breeze. Like, it happens, and if there's a thinner material, that's going to rip. Like, I mean, for sure.
I mean, I went into second, pop-up slide, came up, and I had torn the whole leg. I basically shredded it.
Yeah, Craig, you're completely right. They do look like something you would buy at the team store.
They do. They look like a kind of a knockoff jersey.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't mind the tops. The pants, I don't really want to, be watching a baseball game and seeing 18 guys' asses hanging out. And like you can fix those. You can use a little bit thicker material on the pants. And I think you're right. I think they're just going to tear.
I'm waiting for it. We haven't seen it yet in spring training because, of course, you're not really going full tilt yet. But I think as you get later in spring training, you're going to see guys go in and come up with uniforms that are shredded.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for it.
Even like sliding on your like going in head first, like Pete Rose style. Like, you don't realize how much buffer those like cotton uniforms actually give you for protection when you're sliding. Like, those thin sweat wicking shirts don't give you much there. So,
and that's what's going to happen is guys are going to wear layers underneath to cover that, and you defeated the purpose of the jersey to begin with.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, I get the concept. They want a uniform that's stretchy and comfortable and breathable and keeps them cool in the summer. I get it, but they look like hell.
Yeah,
they look like hell.
wearing those cotton uniforms in Texas in the middle of July. I get it. I mean,
wearing those cotton uniforms in July in Maine sucks. Forget about
right.
Forget about Texas.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with those, but it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, but I think the moral of the story here is that now you get everybody blaming everybody, and yet they're not doing a thing to fix it. So we may start the season with these JV type uniforms.
Yeah, typical MLB. Just wait for somebody else to fix it.
This is a $10 billion league, and Fanatics and Nike are massive multi-billion-dollar enterprises. This is what you're rolling with,
right? You're telling me you can't make a higher quality jersey than what you're putting out? It's crazy.
Craig, my 35 plus team unis made the same way. I ripped mine on a dive back at first.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for a guy like Ronald Acuna to get on first base, dive in after a couple pickoff throws, steal second, steal third, and come up with a uniform that's shredded. Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. But all right, you have the information on the Salt Lake City, right? They're completely like full bore, ready to get this team in there, like now.
Yeah, so Salt Lake City is actually in the process right now. It's going to the governor. They're setting aside a section of Salt Lake City into a revitalization zone, air quotes revitalization zone, which is just another fancy way of saying, hey, we got to spend money against this. So they're setting up a revitalization zone, and they're looking to raise about $2 billion to go in and redo this area of Salt Lake City, with the goal being that they'll attract MLB or NHL or both. They're prepared to do both. They also have somebody, and I can't find the name now. They have somebody privately who's pledged up to $3 billion on top of their money to make this all happen. Dang. But Salt Lake City is going full bore to get ready for professional sports. Keep in mind, one of the smallest media markets of any major city in the country. They do not have anywhere to put these teams right now. So they got to go in, they got to redo this whole downtown area, which is going to be a several-year project on its own. And what they're getting from a lot of the public and even economists in the area who are saying, don't do this. If you bring professional sports here, it will not be beneficial to our market. We, A, can't handle it. And B, all you're going to do is drive all the commerce for the area to this downtown area. And you're going to kill every little business on the way there. So there's a lot of debate about what professional sports actually means to a city, but also what it would mean to that city, because Salt Lake City is just not that big. And the metro market's just not that big. So this is becoming a really interesting battle. The governor still has to okay this whole bill. It's going to be they're going to increase sales tax, I believe. It's going to be similar to what we've seen in other markets. Are going to add a little bit more to the sales tax, like the Brewers are doing for Milwaukee's doing for the ballpark there, to raise all this money. But this is a multi-year revitalization project with the end goal being professional sports come there. No idea if it's going to pass. The belief is that it will pass. Everybody in government is for it. A lot of the community is not. A lot of the local economists and university type folk are not. They're saying this is not beneficial to us. But Salt Lake City is 100 miles an hour getting ready for professional sports, and they've got no commitment right now.
I mean, they do have the Utah Jazz, so
they do.
I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it. I mean, obviously, like, I don't live in Salt Lake City. I'm not Mormon, so like I don't know what it looks like out there. Like, if they could handle it, right. I think geographically, it makes total sense. It breaks up the Midwest. You have the Rockies that are randomly in the middle there. And then if you end up getting a team on the East Coast over here in Nashville and Charlotte, Montreal, wherever they're going to put that other one, it does make sense geographically, and it is going to pull people into Salt Lake City from the surrounding areas.
It is,
so I mean, people are going to drive to go to, whatever their team name's going to be, to the baseball game there. I mean, look at New England with Boston, right? There's people from northern Maine that drive 5.5 hours just to get to a Red Sox game. Yep. Like, they will be able to fill that stadium and make it work. I never really thought about the small business aspect of it, where Salt Lake City is as small as it is. I say small in quotes. Like, you're going to drive out some some small businesses there that aren't going to be able to A, afford the rent, or B, handle the amount of people that are coming into their shops, or both.
Yep.
You know, like it's interesting.
Yeah, and I think with the Utah Jazz, it's a little bit unique because basketball is fewer games, more spread out.
Right.
MLB is every night for long home stands. NHL works more like NBA. So it almost makes more sense to have like the NBA and NHL because you could kind of swap them. So you'd have stuff going on. You know, baseball is challenging because of how many games there are. But I do think when you're in these massive metropolitan areas, Boston, New York, you know, Los Angeles, you know, you're so big and spread out that it doesn't matter. Like you can draw people in, it has no effect really on the local area because people still live back where everything is.
Right.
In these smaller markets, you know, people are going to drive past everything to get to the ballpark. All these businesses along the way get kind of left out. All this revitalization money is going to go into this area. Everything else gets ignored. And in the end, you end up with this really dense, beautiful area. And then everything else kind of gets forgotten.
Yeah.
And maybe in a smaller market, that's a bigger deal. But it's interesting because everybody's pushing this thing ahead. There's a lot of people that are concerned about it. But Salt Lake City is absolutely getting prepared as though they've got professional franchises on the way.
Yeah.
So
Morgan says Edmonton. I haven't heard that one floated around. And I don't know much about Edmonton either, but
Edmonton wasn't even on MLB's list. Montreal was, but Edmonton was not.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense to put like a Western-ish Canadian team in there. I mean, you got Toronto. I know people want Montreal back. I know Montreal wants Montreal back.
Yes. I mean, I think when you look across Canada, you've got Montreal, which would make sense. Toronto, you're already there. Edmonton, maybe. Vancouver is another big market on the West Coast, but now you're way out west.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's Calgary? Calgary's in Alberta.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's another one. But again, I don't know what
the baseball is Edmonton, there, so you're kind of battling over the two of them.
Right. So, yeah.
But I mean, I mean, I definitely could see, and Morgan's right. The Edmonton Oilers, they're a crazy fan base, but that's a massive, massive hockey mecca too. So,
right.
I don't know. I'll be curious, but you've got one city who's preparing like they're coming without any commitment, and others that I think are just kind of sitting back and waiting.
Which is interesting because like I said, since we've started the podcast 3 years ago, we've talked about Nashville almost from day one. Like they have been in the fold since then, saying they want a team there. And it's been quiet. You haven't really heard much about Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville had Don Mattingly come in and kind of be their spokesperson, and Nashville was all in. And it seems like they've kind of dropped back and they're just kind of waiting to hear what happens.
Yeah. But it sounds like Salt Lake City is going through the same stuff that that you were mentioning about Las Vegas. You know, like they just don't really have the space for it. It would affect everything around it. And you can't really like handle the 81 games, home games a year, night after night after night after night, right? Because when they're on a homestand, it's 7 to 10 days straight of traffic to the ballpark. And where they were going to put the stadium in Vegas, they're like, well, we have no parking, we have no public transportation. And maybe Salt Lake City's the same way. I mean,
well, and they are. That's why they've got to go in and spend $2 billion to upgrade this area to basically support what's coming.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference, is that Vegas is saying we could do it, but we can't do it on the Strip. You got to go somewhere else. Salt Lake's saying we can't do it, but we're going to spend the money so we can. And they've got the benefit where they're not so developed. They can do that. So it's interesting, but it is such a small media market that it's just not super attractive for professional franchise. And the Jazz have been there a long time and they draw well, but they've also been good, which helps.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But Salt Lake is all in on the MLB NHL train.
Crazy. You also sent me a link. I haven't had a chance to really read it yet, but the load management with players going forward. Now, I know that the NBA has had like load management issues because people pay big money to go see, insert star's name here. And then they don't see them because they're sitting on the bench.
Yeah, night off.
What was the big thing in that article that was highlighted?
Well, one of the things highlighted in this article was the fact there's only really two players that have played all 162. I believe it was last year. That was Travis Semien and Matt Olson. Matt Olson's played all 162 3 times since 2018. And what's happening is the fact that where baseball's become so statistically driven, so matchup driven, so focused on kind of setting the lineup up and the game up in the exact sequence that you want, guys just don't play every day anymore. There's a lot of your elite guys are playing 140, 145 games a year, not because of injury, but because they're getting scheduled days off. And rosters are being built to allow for that to happen. You know, you've got that super utility guy who can who plays 4 days a week and everybody gets a break because he's in the lineup and that kind of stuff.
Which has always happened. It's always been a part of the game.
It has, but one of the arguments, and I think Matt Olson was one of the guys that was making it, was, you know, if I'm available, I'm going to play.
Right.
Like, why would I not play? And they were talking to Alex Anthopoulos from the Braves. And his whole thing was, like, I get the load management thing. I understand giving guys a break, but you're choosing to weaken your ball club for that day or that sequence of days by having a lesser replacement player play in front of your healthy star player.
Right.
We do have days off on the schedule. We do make accommodations for travel. We do have training staff, and these guys have everything they need. They should be able to play just about every day, barring injury. But there's now a debate kind of in Major League Baseball of, do you want your players to play every day? Do you not? What's the right amount of games for a superstar to play? You know, Morgan's saying 130, and he's probably right. If you take the season down, guys play every day.
Yeah.
But, and then the flip side of that too is that, you know, Blake Snell's a guy who's always been kind of on pitch counts. He's always been allowed to go so far. He wins the Cy Young last year. He's having a tough time signing a contract this year. Everybody points to the 5 1/3 innings that he pitches. Well, I need a starter who goes deeper in games. You don't go deep in games. Well, no, I don't go deep in games because I give you 5 1/3 spectacular innings versus 7 pretty good.
Right.
Which one would you rather have?
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming kind of an internal debate within baseball as to what is the right approach.
Well, and teams, we said it before, teams aren't even building their rosters that way anymore. They're building their rosters for their pitchers to get around the lineup twice, and then they go to the bullpen every single game. That's what it looks like now.
Yeah, and they were asking, you know, Brian Snitker, who's been with the Braves forever. Andrew Jones never played fewer than 153 games. Chipper Jones played in 97% of all games from 95 to 2003. And Snitker was saying that used to be how it was. Guys like Andrew didn't even come out of the blowouts. They wanted to play every inning of every game. And he was mentioning Brian McCann. Brian McCann would get pissed off when I wouldn't play him on the Sunday afternoon games after the Saturday night games because I wanted to give him a rest. Like that, the old mentality was, if I'm healthy, I'm playing. The new mentality is, I'm tired, I'm taking a day off.
Yeah.
And the argument is that the right thing to do? Is it not the right thing to do? Are the players soft? Has the game changed? But more importantly, if I'm paying you $35 million a year, you should be on the field. Like, I don't want to put a platoon guy out there to give you a day off on a Sunday afternoon. Like, why can't you play?
Yeah. I would find that as hard as a front office guy or an owner. If I'm paying this guy, Zach Wheeler, $42 million to go out on the field. I know it's weird. He's a starting pitcher, so I won't use him. Whatever. Another guy that I'm paying $30 million a year to, and he's taking a day off a week. No thanks, man. You're making $400,000 a game or whatever the math works out to, and you're sitting. So you're going to sit and make, take 400 grand out of my pocket. I don't think that's how it works. Like, get out on the field. I think there are ways to fix this. I think Morgan's correct. I like to consider myself a baseball purist in a way, but I think lowering the amount of games makes sense, especially if you add these other two expansion teams in here in the next 6 to 7 years. You're going to have to expand the playoffs, right? I mean, they're going to, because playoff baseball is electric. I think you have to lower the games at some point here. I don't know. It's hard. If I'm paying $150 a game,
Morgan, if Rendon can do it, making $245, why can't I take games off too? That's the mentality.
He's not wrong.
Well, and so they go on in the article, and Snitker's talking about the current team. And Acuna last year played 147 consecutive games. He didn't take a break until mid-September when Snitker finally said, "Dude, like, take a day off. Like, you're tired, you're pressing. Like, let me give you a breather." But 147 straight games. He took, and of course, we know the season he had. And one of the things Olsen said is that that's what we love about our team is that every day guys come in. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Like, we want to be out there playing. We're not looking for the next day off. We're not marking the calendar with, oh, I'm taking this next day off, or
right.
Because there's also a belief that players are picking days off to hide from pitchers, get away from matchups, like, and so the Braves have adopted this whole, hey, if you're up, you're going, and those players love it, and it's worked well for them.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just that maybe that group of players it works for, but there's a lot of players that are basically of the opinion of, if I'm available, I'm playing.
Yeah, and I mean, Morgan makes a good point with the Rendon comment, and then I saw a little clip of Merrill Kelly talking about it, and Merrill Kelly pretty much said, like, I agree with what Anthony Rendon is trying to say. Was he the right person to say it at that time? No, but for guys, like, this is a job. Like, they don't love the game; they're very good at it, and that's what they do to provide for their families. Like, I completely get it. So, maybe those are the type of guys that do look for the next day off. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
But if I'm paying $150 as a fan and $50 for my hot dog, I want to see Ronald Acuna play. I don't show up to a Braves game to not see him. Right. I get it.
Well, Morgan makes the point here, probably why averages are down across baseball. Players taking days off, they lose the rhythm. And it's true. I mean, days off are not a rest is great, but days off in baseball are a bit of a double-edged sword, because this is a game that is meant to be played every day. You get into the rhythm, you see the ball, you got your timing. Like, it only takes a day to ruin that.
Yep.
And these guys that come in and out of lineups, it's those guys that are pinch hitters or utility guys. That's a really, really hard way to make a living in baseball.
Yeah. And the only reason Brock Holt was so good at it that year, he made the All-Star team for the Red Sox, is because he ended up playing every day.
Right.
With injuries. Yeah. Injuries, off days, stuff like that. Like, he was just in the lineup every day. So he never lost
playing he was playing like 6 out of 7 games because he just kept rotating around the field,
right,
giving guys days off.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I can see why you would want to give your star players time off, especially down the stretch. But then, like you said, you're playing that dangerous game of, my guy's going to lose his timing in the last 2 weeks here, and we're going into the playoffs, and he's nowhere to be found. Yep. It's a dangerous game. I get it.
It is. So it's an issue that players are starting to talk about, and teams are starting to talk about, and front offices are starting to talk about. I want to sign guys that are going to go every day. That's what I'm paying you for.
Yeah. So the thing with lowering the amount of games is you're going to see ticket prices skyrocket.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Like, if you trim 32 games, like, using the 130 number that Morgan threw out, if you trim 32 games off, times, we'll say an average of 35,000 fans.
Yep.
That's a lot of money that you're losing as an organization. They're
going to try to make that up.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, I get it. For the players' sake, I think it does need to be shortened, especially if playoffs expand, like I said. But I don't know. I don't know what the fix is. That's why I'm sitting on the couch talking about it and not in the front office. So I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to put the link in the chat if people want to see the article. It was interesting. It's a lot of interesting takes, and, there's a lot of players that are very passionate about the fact that if you're healthy, you should be on that field.
Yeah.
That's what we get paid to do.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. I think that's, if you're healthy, you're ready to go, you should go.
Yeah. The front office, the fellow players, and the fans relying on you being out there.
Yeah. And I mean, when we first started and we had Jim Rowe on the podcast, former trainer of the Red Sox back in 04 when they, broke the curse and all that. He was in the Red Sox organization for years. He talked about, because we asked him, what does the daily grind look like? Do you see all the players come in? And he's like, if you think that everybody gets through the season, scot-free without having some ding or bruise or whatever, he's like, you're mistaken. Everybody circulates through my training room on a daily basis. 162 games is a complete grind.
It is.
Absolutely. What? So any way to ease that a little bit, I get it, but I don't know. It's hard because, like I said, if I'm paying Anthony Rendon his contract, I want him out there. I don't want him going home because he just doesn't feel like playing today.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm tired. Okay.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Okay. So Morgan's got a little money here. So have 14 teams to the playoffs, shorten the season. Playoffs start in September. Wouldn't hurt the ticket prices that much, and ratings would be better. Not competing against football so much.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get that. Because when the NFL does crank up, they have to lose ratings.
Yeah. I mean, September is one thing, but October, you're starting to get into a lot more competitive matchups. Now teams have had a few games, where they are in the standings. Matchups are now a little more interesting on the NFL side. So it's challenging. October, November baseball.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's 162 definitely is too much, I think.
It's a lot.
I think they need to dial it back.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And what was it before they went to 160?
154, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so too. So, I don't know. They got to fix the pants. They got to fix the schedule. They got to fix the amount of time these guys are playing on the field. I mean, I just
got to fix blackouts.
That's just,
oh geez.
Yeah, for sure.
No, please leave her in football. We don't need Taylor Swift dating a baseball player.
Well, we're gonna have Olivia Dunn here soon, so we got that coming with Paul Scanes if he makes the team. So we'll see.
Which he will.
Yeah, I mean Olivia Dunn's not Taylor Swift. Don't get me wrong, but
no. Oh goodness, no.
Craig says drop it to 150 and call it a day.
Yeah, maybe that's the right number. And I think they're gonna have to address this issue at some point.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know, but I mean, baseball's always evolving. I mean, you look at how baseball's been played. Like I said earlier, with the pitching rotation, pitchers only have to go to the 5th or the 6th, and then they turn it over to 5 guys that can throw 150, and then they close out the game. You rarely have starters, and look at the number of no hitters we've seen by one guy lately.
Right?
How many combined no hitters have we seen? A ton, because pitchers don't go the distance anymore.
They don't.
So, and I get protecting your assets. But where's that line? Where does it, you're protecting this guy or you're just giving him rest to give him rest?
Right.
But Morgan's killing it tonight. Yeah. Haven't evolved in marketing, right? Gotta love all the blackouts. Don't even get me started with that. We'll be here for another hour.
That's another topic for another night.
My God, man. If I'm paying for MLB TV, I should have access to all 30 teams. End of story.
That's the deal. I'm paying for it.
Yeah, crazy. But instead, I don't have a team within 7 hours, and I'm blacked out of 3. So,
yep, which is crazy. That'd be like blacking me out of the Yankees. This is not that market.
You would be blacked out of the Yankees, the Mets, not the Blue Jays, but
Phillies.
Probably really close.
Yep,
crazy.
That's bananas.
Man. Absolutely bananas. But yeah. So, all right. Well, do you have anything else to add onto tonight?
That's it.
That's all I had to. We will be back next Monday at 8. But before you go, please make sure you like and follow us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can comment on our reels, share our reels, do whatever you can to get our name out there. We're still growing. We love doing this, so please just get our names out there. And like I said, we will be back on next Monday at 8 p.m.
See ya.